Hello, I'm Dr. Gary Gould, and in this video, we're going to look at some tips for taking pictures with your smartphone. Now, there is a handout that you can download that is supplemental to this video, and I would recommend that you do that as well. Now, it's been said that the best camera is the one that you have with you, and today's smartphones have great cameras. So if you have a smartphone, you have a great camera. In this tutorial, we're going to cover how to optimize your smartphone for photography, and we're going to look at some things that make your smartphone photos better. Before we look at tips, you want to optimize your smartphone for taking pictures. The first thing you want to check is the quality setting. You want to make sure that your camera is set to take the highest quality picture photograph that you can. You can always make it smaller later, but you can never make it larger. Having a larger picture file allows you to do more with it. You can crop, you can zoom it in, and still maintain a very high quality picture. Now, of course, taking larger pictures means you need space on your smartphone. Either get another SD card if you have an Android that does that, or clear your phone off before you go out. Always do it before you go out, because when you're in the field, there's a chance you could delete something you need. It burns up your battery, and it's always risky deleting anything when you're like, I don't know, do I need it? I'm not sure. And always make sure you get copies of things. So move your pictures to a hard drive, the cloud, Google Drive, somewhere that the pictures are safe as well before you delete them off your phone. Do not add any digital effects or filters on your photos. Yes, you can do that later if you want, but do make sure you have one picture that's just pure clean, nothing on it, because when you're taking photos as a photojournalist, there are rules about what you can do to the picture, how much color saturation you can put into it, things like that. You can crop and you can do some basic photographic things, but there's not a lot. You're not allowed to go in and clone stuff and do a lot of Photoshop with it, so be careful of that. And if you use a filter or a digital effect on a picture when you take it, you will ruin the picture for use later in photojournalism. So be careful of that. One of the things we recommend is a lens cleaning kit. Your camera goes in and out of your purse, a bag, your pocket. You're always touching it with your fingers. If you get your finger on it and there's grease, you can easily ruin a photograph. So you want to make sure that you have a way of cleaning the lens safely. You don't want to scratch the lens of your camera. When you get a lens cleaning kit, make sure you follow the instructions that come with it. And remember to never put fluid directly on the lens of the camera, because it can get in behind the lens on some cameras and damage the camera permanently. It's very important to fully charge the battery on your smartphone, especially if it's a few years old and it doesn't hold the charge that well. Once you start taking pictures, if you're using the flash or if you're doing any kind of video, you will burn up that battery very quickly. If your battery's a bit shaky to begin with, you might go out and buy one of those portable chargers. The battery banks are sometimes called. You can get them fairly inexpensively, and that allows you to, with the USB cord, don't forget that, you can plug that into your phone on location and give yourself some more power when you need it. If you lose power, you are done. The game is over. When it gets cold, you also have to be careful too, because it's harder on the battery. So if it's a cold day and you're shooting, try to keep your phone inside your pocket in between when you're using it, just to maintain and protect your battery life as well. Modern cameras can be very slippery, so if you're trying to take photos with them, it can be very unnerving sometimes. So I went out and bought this little ring holder. I bought it at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. Dollarama also sells them for a couple dollars more. What it does is it gives you one more level of protection when you're shooting. It allows me to hold the phone a bit more securely. No, I don't completely rely on the sticky. This could come off anytime, so don't just rely on it completely, but it does allow you to kind of hold the camera just a little bit more securely. The other thing it allows me to do is I can put it down on a table, and it gives me a bit of an angled viewer when I'm watching back my footage later on. One of the other things you might consider as well is a selfie stick with a tripod on the bottom. It allows you to do interviews with people from a distance, especially great for self-isolating and social distancing, but it also keeps your shots nice and steady. As a professional photographer, I appreciate the ability to manually override a camera. With a smartphone, there's a lot more limitations. Whether your camera has manual controls built in or not, one thing you can do with any camera is to touch and hold the screen where you want the camera to focus and set the exposure to. You should always do this if you can. Most cameras also have a burst mode. I would recommend this if you're shooting action, sports, even portraits. As people are smiling, changing their facial expressions. One little microsecond makes a huge difference to a facial expression, and the burst mode will be able to capture that. You absolutely should shoot horizontally, also known as landscape, and vertically, also known as portrait mode. This gives you variety when you're putting assignments together, whether it's a web design or a magazine. Having the shot both ways makes a big difference. Some shots lend themselves to vertical, maybe the CN Tower. Some shots lend themselves to horizontal, maybe the hockey rink. Let's stop now and review what we've looked at in this tutorial. We looked at how to optimize your smartphone settings,
and things that make your smartphone photos better.
Good photography can tell a powerful story, and you don't want technical things to get in the way of that. A greasy lens or a full camera because you forgot to empty out the pictures. Be ready so that when those good pictures come along, you can get them. There's other tutorials that I might suggest you watch, some on lighting and others on photography. We do appreciate you watching. I'm Dr. Gary Gould. Thanks for your time today, and I'll see you again.